Hey guys, this is part 2 of Gimjang. If you haven't watched part 1, a lot of things in this video might not make sense, so please go watch part 1 first. And for those of you who have watched part 1, welcome back. Let me remind you, we left off after making the kimchi paste. Now it's time to actually finish our first kimchi. I'll get the salted mu out and smother it with paste so we can start soaking up all the flavors. Then I'll add the salted pa and gat into the kimchi paste and start coating them as well. Make sure you get the paste especially on the thicker parts of the vegetables and not too much on the leafy tender parts. Again, I'm going to use soju to sterilize my kimchi tong, then I'm going to gather the pa and gat by the stems, making them into little bundles to put into the kimchi tong. You want to fold the tender parts of the vegetables so they fit into your container. What I do is alternate the directions so the root or thick parts don't overlap. So one bundle faces the right side of the container and the next bundle faces the left, and so on. It's very popular to put sesame seeds on top of pa kimchi, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to use a little bit of cut minari to wipe off any remaining paste from my gloved hands, and then add a final layer of sesame seeds. And that's our first kimchi done. Next, I'm going to get the brine from the salted baechu and add that to the remaining liquid for the mulkimchi. Reminder, that's from part 1. I assembled my mulkimchi, but it didn't have enough juice to submerge all the vegetables, so I said I would add more, and that's where we left off. Now I'm tasting the brine, and I decided to add 2 more tablespoons of raw sugar to balance it out. I also added about 3 cups of water to make sure there's enough liquid. I dissolved the sugar well and poured it over the mulkimchi. I used my gloved hands to push all the vegetables down. It's very important that everything is fully submerged in the liquid. So this is our second kimchi done. Now we are going to start our baechu kimchi. I forgot to film this part, but in Busan we would use very fresh fish like croaker and grind both the flesh and bones to add to the kimchi. But right now I'm not in Busan, so the freshest fish I could find was sashimi grade halibut, so that's what I used. I ground the fish using a food processor on a low setting, and this is what I have. This will add so much umami to your kimchi yangnyeom. Just make sure you use the best quality fish you can find and really mix it thoroughly into the paste so there are no chunks of raw fish left. Now I'm adding minari gat pa that we cut in part 1 and mixing everything together to make kimchi sok. It may look a bit drier than other kimchi sok, but the vegetables inside will release moisture and make the kimchi nicely juicy. Now I'm going to start assembling. I'm not throwing anything away. I will even use the loose leaves later, so I'm saving them in a separate bowl. I'll show you how I make my baechu kimchi almost in real time. So I first put paste on the outside of the baechu, lay it cut side up, and start from the bottom leaf, placing kimchi sok at the base of each leaf. Lift the leaves to separate them, then rub the paste onto each leaf. I flip the baechu so you can see better. I place vegetables like minari, gat, or pa at the base of each leaf, then run my hand down along the leaf so the paste spreads evenly. You don't want too much paste on the tender ends, that can make it too salty. You want more paste and vegetables at the base of the leaves and just a light coating toward the ends. Don't skip any leaves. Make sure every single one is coated, put love into it. Again, place the cut vegetables at the base and spread the paste over the leaves. Don't worry about the underside of the leaves. When you fold it, it will also be coated by the layer above. After finishing all the leaves, shape the baechu. Tuck in any loose bits and make sure the outside is also coated with paste. Then tightly fold it like a baby in a bundle so the filling does not fall out. With one baechu done, I'll repeat this for the rest. Of course, today is Gimjang 날, and what's Gimjang without soup? I'm steaming my pork as usual, but today I'm not adding extra vegetables because the kimchi jeju is already very aromatic. But you can add them if you want. If you want to see how I usually make it, check out this video. Okay, now I'm going to store the kimchi. I'll put a little paste at the bottom because kimchi will release a lot of liquid over time and I don't want it to get diluted. This helps maintain better conditions. Then I add the mu first. They act like a rack, so the baechu sits slightly above the liquid. If it's fully submerged, it can dilute salt and shorten the prime period. So the mu helps keep the baechu slightly elevated. Place the baechu cut side down. I'm leaving one half baechu out with some kimchi soup because I will use that to make kimchi and eat it fresh. Put extra paste on the top layer since it's the most vulnerable to mold. If you run out of paste, you can sprinkle salt instead. You don't have to eat those top leaves, they act as a protective lid. So that's our baechu kimchi done. I had some paste left, so I stored it in a separate bag. The next day I got some more mu, salted it, and smothered it with the leftover paste to make mulkimchi. Lastly, we'll make kimchi. I've washed some fresh 굴 oysters. Smother the 굴 in the kimchi paste. Kimchi is made the same way, but you want to place raw oysters between every 2 leaves. Don't put them in the middle or edge of the leaves, they'll fall out. Wedge them near the base instead. Use the loose leaves to clean the bowl and mix everything. This is meant to be eaten fresh, so consume it within a week. When you cut fresh kimchi, you can see that the cut side of baechu is still white. As it ferments, the color spreads into the baechu and the texture becomes more pickled. I'll store the rest in a smaller container. I didn't sterilize it this time because I will eat it within a week. Coat the cut side with the paste, wrap it like a bundle, and unlike Gimjang kimchi, place it cut side up so it retains the oyster juices. My stew gets done, so I'll cut it up. So this is what we're having for dinner, fresh kimchi and stew. This is the next day and I'm checking on my kimchi to see if fermentation has started well. You can see bubbles forming. This is gas from microbial activity. That's why glass jars can be risky if sealed. If you don't have a kimchiton, open your container once a day to release the gas. Push everything down again to keep it submerged. Taste and adjust the salt if needed. If it's not salty enough, it can mold. It's safer to make it slightly saltier and then dilute it later than risk spoilage. Everything is looking good and fermenting properly. I'll leave this out for maybe one more day before putting it in my kimchi 냉장고. 파김치 and 갓김치 are also looking great. And 굴김치, you can see it's already releasing juices, so I'll put that in the fridge right away. So quick recap. We salted the baechu, prepped the vegetables, whizzed so many fruits and vegetables, and squeezed the water out, then made the yangnyeom, prepared the kimchi sok, assembled everything, and stored it tight. I'd love for you to try this and make it a fun event. So thanks for sharing this journey with me, guys. Happy cooking!